हरि बोल 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 जय जय राधा रमन 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 हरि बोल 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 राधे 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 आजा राधे 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 नाचा राधे 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 चाचा राधे 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 ओ राधे राधे आजा राधे नाचा राधे चाचा राधे 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 रमन हरि बोल जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल हरि बोल जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल 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 मौरी राधे 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 मौरी राधे 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 झोली राधे 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 झोली राधे 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 ओ झोली राधे मौरी राधे झोली राधे झोली राधे 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 जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल हरि बोल जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल 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 पूरब राधे 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 पश्चिम राधे 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 उत्तर राधे 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 दक्षिण राधे 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 ओ पूरब राधे पश्चिम राधे उत्तर दक्षिण राधे 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 राधा रमन हरि बोल जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल हरि बोल जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल 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 हरि कृष्ण जिनका नाम है गोकुल गोकुल जिनका धाम है। ऐसे श्री भगवान को, ऐसे श्री भगवान को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है। कृष्ण जिनका नाम है, गोकुल जिनका धाम है। ऐसे श्री भगवान को, ऐसे श्री भगवान को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है। यशोर जिनकी मैया है, नंदा जी बाबैया है। ऐसे श्री गोपाल को, ऐसे श्री गोपाल को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है। कृष्ण जिनका नाम है, गोकुल जिनका धाम है। ऐसे श्री भगवान को, ऐसे श्री भगवान को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है। लूट लूट कलमाखन लायो, बार बार संगति दुसराई। ऐसे लीला राम को, ऐसे लीला राम को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है। कृष्ण जिनका नाम है, गोकुल जिनका नाम है। ऐसे श्री भगवान को, ऐसे श्री भगवान को बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है। प्रणाम बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम। छोटी छोटी घैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल, छोटी छोटी घैया छोटे छोटे ग्वाल, छोटा सा मेरो मदन गोपाल। छोटी छोटी घैया छोटी छोटी ग्वाल, छोटी छोटी घैया छोटी छोटी ग्वाल, छोटा सा मेरो मदन गोपाल। आगे आगे घैया पीछे पीछे ग्वाल, आगे आगे घैया पीछे पीछे ग्वाल, बीच में मेरो मदन गोपाल, बीच में मेरो मदन गोपाल। छोटी छोटी घैया छोटी छोटी ग्वाल, छोटी छोटी घैया छोटी छोटी ग्वाल, छोटा सा मेरो मदन गोपाल। खारी खारी घैया घोरी घोरी ग्वाल, खारी खारी घैया घोरी घोरी ग्वाल, श्याम बरन मेरो मदन गोपाल, श्याम बरन मेरो मदन गोपाल। छोटी छोटी घैया छोटी छोटी ग्वाल, छोटी छोटी घैया छोटी छोटी ग्वाल, छोटा सा मेरो मदन गोपाल। छोटी छोटी सखियन मधुबन बाल, छोटी छोटी सखियन मधुबन बाल, रास रचावे मेरो मदन गोपाल, रास रचावे मेरो मदन गोपाल। छोटी छोटी घैया छोटी छोटी ग्वाल, छोटी छोटी घैया छोटी छोटी ग्वाल, छोटा सा मेरो मदन गोपाल, छोटा सा मेरो मदन गोपाल, छोटा सा मेरो मदन गोपाल, छोटा सा मेरो मदन गोपाल। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की। ओ हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंद, हरि नारायण हरि। हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंद, हरि नारायण हरि ओम। हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंद, हरि नारायण हरि ओम। हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंद, हरि नारायण हरि ओम। हरि केशव हरि गोविंद, हरि नारायण हरि ओम। हरि केशव हरि गोविंद, हरि नारायण
भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो 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 भगवते वासुदेवाय। वृंदावन मेरे लाल की जय। Once more we come knocking at the door of Bhagwan Vishnu. As we take flowers in our hands, we propitiate worship to Bhagwan Vishnu. Hey Paramatma, listen to our prayer. Hari Om Sri Ganeshaya Namah, Sri Saraswate Namah, Sri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Govinda Namo Namaha. Shuklam Varanam Deva Shashi Varanam Chaturbhuja, Prasanna Varanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopasantaye. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha, Nirvighanam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvara. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvati Satike, Sharane Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vrindavan Nirvani Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Drop of water, drop of milk. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We offer clothing to Bhagwan. We offer the Yagna Janeem. May we please with us. Vasradanam Samarpyami. Yagyopavitanam Samarpyami. Trembakam yajame sugandim pushtivardanam. Urvarukamiva vandana prityor mukshamavrita. We offer chandan, we offer perfume. May you illumine the pathway of our lives. May you rid us of lust and anger and hatred and jealousy and ego and pride. May you guide us onto the pathway of salvation. We beg of you, listen to our prayer. Salutations unto thee again and again. Chandanam samarpyami, Gandadanam samarpyami. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Palimala Dravya, we offer Hardi for purification. Sindur, bring for Mukti, salvation. Be pleased with us, we beg of you. O Bhagwan, listen to our prayer. Haridram Samarpyami, Sinduram Samarpyami. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. To us. May you rid away all troubles or problems. We offer Belvadis, Shrudi's knees, we offer all lives at your feet. Be pleased with us. We offer name knees, Shrudi's knees, we offer all sickness, all distresses unto thee. Who else can we turn to? We bow to you with conviction from our hearts. Listen to our prayer. Durbam samarpyami, Bel patram samarpyami, Neem patram samarpyami. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Symbolic of our love to you, O Paramatma, O Bhagwan, may be pleased with us. We bow to you again and again. Mallityadini Sugandhini Mallityadini Ve Prabhu Mayatani Pujatam Pushpani Pratigritam Karpura Gauram Karunavataram Sansarisaram Bhujagendraram Saravasantam Hiryarvinde Pavam Bhavani Setam Namami. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Yani Kani Sapa Pani Jammantar Gritani Sta Tani Tani Prachana Prachana Prade Prade Deepam Darshyami Deepam Samarpyami Deepam Pratigritam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We offer flowers around our dear Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi Mukti Mukti Pradayani Mantra Murti Sada Devi Mahalakshmi Namo Astute. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Naivedyam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallavam Janaki Nayakam Ramachandra Bhaje. Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallavam Janaki Nayakam Ramachandra Bhaje. Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallavam Janaki Nayakam Ramachandra Bhaje. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, समर्पयामि। ब्रह्मार्पणं ममस्तु कृष्णार्पणम्। श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिका वल्लभं जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्र भजे। श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिका वल्लभं जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्र भजे। ताम्बूलम्। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिका वल्लभं जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्र भजे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। आज
राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिका वल्लभं जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्र भजे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
दक्षिणादान हिरण्यागर्भ समर्पिताग्रे भूतस्य जाता पतिरिकयासि सराढारं पृथिवीं नम दक्षिणादानम् अहं करिष्ये। पुष्पदान। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिका वल्लभं जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्र भजे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे।
We'll join in expressions of welcome by Seetahal-Maharaj this evening, and so Chiki will give the microphone.
Sitaram, everybody. On behalf of Pandit Sunil and Ganesh Utsav Foundation, it's indeed our pleasure to welcome each and every one of you here tonight, Friday night. I think this is our 17th session, our 17th session. So, you know, we have tomorrow and Sunday morning to complete this wonderful celebration. We are indeed very blessed. You know, we are celebrating the birthday of our beloved Pandit. Yesterday was indeed a very wonderful day where we celebrated his birthday. So I invite you all, sit back, enjoy, put your hands together and welcome God to your hearts. Sit down.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
करा हो जाए आरती लीजिए। शुभम करोतु कल्याणम आरोग्यम सुख संपरम मम शत्रु विनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते सिद्धि बुद्धि प्रदे देवी भुक्ति मुक्ति प्रदायिनी मंत्र मूर्ति सदा देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते। भागवत आरती। भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है आरती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है आरती।
ये अमर गंतये मुक्ति पंतये पंचम वीर निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही
हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही।
जग के मंगल की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पाको पुनिताने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये सुख करनी हे दुख हरनी
ये सुख करनी ये दुख हरनी।
ये मधुसूदन की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये मधुर बोल जग पंत बोल सन्माद दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
ये मधुर बोल जग पंत बोल सन्माद दिखाने वाला बिगड़े को बनाने वाला।
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही।
सबकी महिमा की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
चित चोरा वृंदावन संसारा गोपाला गोपाला ही मुरली गोपाला
राधित चोरा वृंदावन संसारा गोपाला गोपाला हे मुरली गोपाला
पराजित चोरा वृंदावन संसारा गोपाला गोपाला ही मुरली गोपाला
राधित चोरा वृंदावन संसारा गोपाला गोपाला हे मुरली गोपाला
गोपाला गोपाला ही मुरली गोपाला
गोपाला गोपाला हे मुरली गोपाला
गोपाला गोपाला ही मुरली गोपाला
गोपाला गोपाला हे मुरली गोपाला
पराजित चोरा वृंदावन संसारा गोपाला गोपाला ही मुरली गोपाला
राधित चोरा वृंदावन संसारा गोपाला गोपाला हे मुरली गोपाला
ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम
हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम
ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम
ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम
हरि नारायण जय शिव
हरि नारायण जय शिव
हरि नारायण जय शिव
हरि नारायण जय शिव
ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम
ओम हरि ओम हरि ओम
परब्रह्मा शिव हरि ओम
परब्रह्मा शिव हरि ओम
परमेश्वर शिव हरि ओम
परमेश्वर शिव हरि ओम
परब्रह्मा शिव हरि ओम
परब्रह्मा शिव हरि ओम
परमेश्वर शिव हरि ओम
परमेश्वर शिव हरि ओम
हरि ओम जय शिव
हरि ओम जय शिव
हरि ओम जय शिव
हरि ओम जय शिव
ओम हरि ओम
हरि ओम हरि
Krishna, 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 Jai Radha Krishna.
Krishna 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 Krishna
Jai Radha Krishna.
Krishna, 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 Jai Radha Krishna.
Krishna 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 Krishna
Jai Radha Krishna.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Bolo
Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Radhe Govinda Gopala, Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala.
Radhe Govinda
Krishna Madhusudana, Madhusudana Krishna,
Krishna Madhusudana, Madhusudana Krishna.
Krishna Madhusudana, Madhusudana Krishna.
Clap your hands if you're ready. Let's sing tonight to Bhagwan.
Govinda Govinda Gopala,
Bolo Govinda Govinda Gopala,
Bolo Govinda Govinda Gopala,
Bolo Govinda Govinda Gopala.
Radhe Govinda Gopala, Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala,
Radhe Govinda Gopala, Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala.
Radhe Govinda Gopala, Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala,
Radhe Govinda Gopala, Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala.
Govinda Govinda Gopala,
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 Govinda Govinda Gopala.
Bolo Govinda Govinda Gopala,
Bolo Govinda Govinda Gopala.
Radhe Govinda Gopala, Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala,
Radhe Govinda Gopala, Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala.
Radhe Govinda Gopala, Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala,
Radhe Govinda Gopala, Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala.
Radhe Govinda Gopala, Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala,
Radhe Govinda Gopala, Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala.
Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala,
Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala.
Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala,
Jai Govinda Radhe Gopala. Vrindavan Mere Lal ki Jai. Haath jod. Let us bow our heads in prayer. Varnanamrta sanganam rasanam chandrasamapi mangalanam chakaritaro bande vani vinayako bhavani shankaro vande श्रद्धा विश्वास्वरूपिणो याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ते सिद्धस्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम् भागवत सुनिल रिधि सिद्धि दाता सिद्ध शरण वारन वरना सुमिरो बारंबार मदन करण की लाल को गणपति कृपा निदान ज्ञानी कानी आनंद भवन देहु मोहि वरदान वरनो बाशा भागवता जय शिवानंद कंद भूतनाथ भव्य हरिना भक्ति विषय निर्द्वान गौरवरण मंगल करिना हे ब्रज चंद्र मुकुंद ब्रजभूषण दूषण हरना कठो भाव बेपन चरण शरण नियान करा जय 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 जगदीश श्वेत शेष महेश यजा महिमा अमित वेद वेद जानत नहीं। देहु मोहि वरदान राधा वरयवर सरा प्रेम बने मुसिका नित चित में कटे कटे रहे। मोहि चाहिए कचुनाए और वास्तु प्रभु जगत की बस ही रे मन माए या भागी जानकी सरा। नील कुटिया पायन की पीछे तिरता वाल पाल लीसा मोर मुकुट सिर परे धरे। कर मुरनी उड़मान शेष मुकुट के पीठ पता या चबिसो नंदला बस हुए गए ममर्षि देवा। गुरु पर रज दर्शी करहु भागवत की कथा जो सुकरेव मुनीश कई परीक्षित निरपटि सो। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रजा नो रघुवर विमनयश बोधहीन तनु जानिके
सुमिरो पवन कुमार
बलभूत में क्या देहु मोहि चंद्र की जय शरणम। Matridevo Bhava, I bow to the lotus-like feet of my beloved Mata. Pita Devo Bhava, I pray that wherever the soul of my father may be, may he be granted salvation. I pray obeisance to the lotus-like feet of all our Brahman devotees. Aditi Devo Bhava, I bow at the lotus-like feet of all our guests. This evening I say a special welcome to Auntie Paro and members of the Orange Valley Vishnu Mandir, and so to the entire entourage. I had the privilege of listening to your beautiful melodious singing this evening, and then I came outside with my head bent because I said, how can I match that singing tonight with such power, eloquence and beauty? To you, my mother has a special love for you, Auntie Paro. I'm not sure what she listened to or where she heard it, but she said to me, you must find that lady for me. I was thinking I'll tell her, find a lady for me. But she said to me, find that lady for me. And she must sing in the Yagna. I bow to you. I thank you for accepting our invitation this evening. To all of those who are listening and to all of those who are viewing, wherever you are, we say welcome. And to our kind and our corporate sponsors, we express sentiments of gratitude and expressions of thanks. This evening we're about to take a spiritual bath. Bhagwan Krishna has already been born, and so he has taken his appearance. Taking his appearance, his Leela has already started to unfold. And he has already started to do his mischievous deeds. In our morning Katha, we saw and we listened to, what did we listen to again? We listened to that evil, crooked-minded comes, how he was very paranoid about death. And to secure long life and longevity, comes decided that a baby has been born. He chose a she-demon whose name was Putna, and so gave the instruction to Putna that she must destroy all the little babies. Putna did a good job, until Putna heard that across the river Yamuna, at the home of Nanda and Yashoda, there is a baby. Putna, just like all the other beings, she rushed. And so rushing there, what will happen? Putna got her opportunity. Can you remember what happened this morning? Putna holding the little baby. The little baby looked at Putna and smiled. And seeing the smile, Putna thought that today I caught you. And the little child smiled and says, I will deal with you. And Putna looking at the little baby, she says, I will kill you. And the little child says, try me if you can. And so Putna, taking long to do what she came to do, for Bhagwan already knew the intention. He looked at Putna and he smiled. And Putna smiled back. And then the little baby, impatient as though his work was being kept back, he started to scream. And Putna did not want any distraction, nor did she want Yashoda to come. So in an effort to silence the child, Putna placed her poisoned breast into the mouth of the child. And so the child started to drink the very pran, the very life out of Putna. Putna, who had taken on the disguise of a beautiful damsel, now her ugliness has been brought to light. Screaming, having a painful death, her life being drunk out of her body, Putna fell to the ground, and the baby Krishna, innocent as though it were, he started to play with the hair of the demon. Yashoda grabbed her son and she rushed away from there, for she was afraid of what she had seen. But in our 2 o'clock session, we saw where Yashoda Maiya Mene Ma Kanikayo Mene Ma Kanikayo Mene Ma Kanikayo Yashoda Maiya Mene Ma Kanikayo. 2 o'clock. In our 2 o'clock session, we saw where mischief began. It's 2 o'clock after the children have broken off from school. Is when they do all the fighting. You all ever saw it? The mischief starts. No supervision. Huh? Something about the 2 o'clock hour. That creates some kind of turbulence in the mind of everybody. By 2 o'clock, you're yawning, you're ready to sleep, huh? Because you just had a heavy lunch. Isn't it? Something about 2 o'clock. In the 2 o'clock session, we saw where Krishna has started to walk. And so he doesn't want to stay home. He begins to make his way to the homes of all the different beings who live in this place. But as he goes, you know what he goes to do? He goes to do mischief. There's some people, when they invite you to their home, they entertain on the outside and knock their doors. Because when children go into their home, they pull all the cushions off the couch and move everything everywhere. There's some people, they're OCD. Have you ever heard about OCD before? Any chair you sit on and think, they take Lysol and spray it down and wipe it. You swear your name is COVID. Your name is COVID Junior. Huh? Wiping down everything and don't throw down nothing on my new table, And the whole cup of tea fall on, boom. And then she say, I'm never inviting Oli back by my house again. And then I say, well, okay. We done it coming back already. I throw down the next cup, Such is the value. We know the worth of what we have. We know how to appreciate what we have. But how we appreciate what we have, somebody else will not appreciate it. Do you know that? Somebody else will not know the worth of what we have, or the sacrifice that we made to have what we have. He goes into the home of all the other beings and he goes there and he acts as though he's a chor. Chor means a thief. And so news spread like wildfire. There is a thief. There is somebody thieving the butter and the curd and the dahi, and there is somebody thieving. But they can't pinpoint who it is. You're not expecting it to be a little child. They begin to hang their pots up in the ceiling with the hope that he can't reach. But he makes friends. And having friends, they climb on each other's back and they make a ladder. And climbing on each other's back and making a ladder, Bhagwan Krishna will go to the top. He will dip his hand in the pot. He will lick, and then he will put his juta hand down, and they will lick too. I asked earlier, will you eat or drink the juta of somebody you don't know? Will you? Would you? On one night I said that if you go to the grocery or to the parlor or to the cafeteria and you buy a Coke, a Coca-Cola or a water, wherever you are going, you'll hold on to that bottle. And you will drink every single drop. Because you know why? You know the worth of it. But when you go to the Yagna and you go to the puja and you go to the places of worship and they give you a bottle of water and they give you a chubby or they give you a Coca-Cola, you know what you do? You open it. You open it. You take a sip, a tiny sip. And then you see Coke, so you don't want water again. So you leave the water, take the Coke, you take a sip of that too. And then you say, you know what, let me just drink the water. And then you throw away the two almost full bottles. Not thinking, like just as you have used your money and you appreciate, somebody else used their money to buy. Scripture has declared, the Bhagwat Mahapuran has stated that when you throw away food, you come back in your next birth to eat the food or to crave for the food that you have thrown away. That's why when we have to, I don't want to use the word dispose, but when we have excess food and food that will be of no value to us, we feed it to the fishes, and we put it in the ocean, and we do that kind of thing. We feed the animals. That's what we do with the food. It is not wasted. It is used. It is utilized. Bhut Yagya, Pitra Yagya, Dev Yagya, Rishi Yagya. By feeding the animals is one of the Maha Yagyas. By feeding the lower species is one of the Maha Yagyas. That's why the old people say it is always good to have a water feature in front of your house. Because once you have an aquarium with water, what you'll want to put in there? And if you have fish in there, will it eat the stone? Obviously, you'll have to feed it. And so by feeding it, you are feeding a Krityava, a lower nature. Incurring good karma. Ever gave thought to that? And so, they catch Krishna stealing. And catching him, holding him, they hold him by his ears and they drag him. And they present him to his mother Yashoda. Yashoda, we have found the thief. And Krishna said, Mom, me? Not me. I am no thief. I've stolen nothing. And Krishna is looking at his mother and he's telling her, you know what he's saying? Yashoda maiya maine maa kankayo maine maa kankayo maine maa kankayo Yashoda maiya maine maa kankayo Yashoda maiya maine maa kankayo not saying nahi. He's saying nay. Nay and nahi is two different words. He's saying, yes, ma, I am the thief. He's saying, yes, I am the thief. But she's not hearing nay, she's hearing nahi. She's thinking no, and he's saying yes. We gave the examples of no and yes. And tonight, Krishna, who is wicked now, Krishna who swallowed the dust, and Yashoda opened his mouth and she saw the universe inside of there and fainted. The katha continues from that point. The point of fainting. And so as Mother Yashoda, she revives herself. Mother Yashoda, she wants to have her son under control. So you know what she does? You know what she does? She rips a piece of her sari. And using the length of the sari, she ties him like a rope around his waist. And you know to what? You know to what? What she ties him to? There is a utensil in the kitchen that is called the ukri and the musar. Have you ever heard of it? She ties him to the ukri. And tying him, she's thinking he's small and he has no power. He'll not be able to pull it down. So she ties him there. And as she ties him, will he stay put? Will he stay put? Ever left the baby on the bed for 1 minute and when you come back, bam, baby on ground? And you say, I never know she could have rolled. Actually, what you didn't know is that she was on a roll. You just found her after the roll. It says, he now, Krishna, tied to this vessel, this utensil, he begins to tug, he begins to pull. Ever see how the dog operates when you lock the dog inside of the cage? Especially when there are people around and a function. On a Thursday when we have the Hawan, Rupa has a unique way of dragging her bowl to and fro because she wants the attention, isn't it? In time gone by, she wasn't as brilliant as she is now. So what she will do, she'll try to jump over the fence. But now what she tries to do is to lift it and go under. She's so intelligent, the dog. Krishna, he's intelligent. He's pulling and tugging. And pulling and tugging, what will happen? Listen, the katha begins to tell us. This evening, as we listen to the verses and we chant the verses of the Bhagwat Mahapuran, I want everybody to participate. When we leave here this evening, we must leave feeling energized. After the katha, during the katha, everybody appears to be a little bit. But do you know after the katha, everybody is fully awake? Huh? So awake that there is some kind of 3 o'clock jumbie. That we can't go to sleep before 3 o'clock. Not tonight, huh? I'm telling you in advance. We must clap and we must sing and we must make a joyful noise unto Bhagwan. Sing with me. Let's clap. Let's sing, everybody. Bolo Shri Seetahal-Ram, 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 Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo
Seetahal-Ram, 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 Jai Siyavar Ram.
Bolo Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo
Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Siyavar Ram.
देवकी पुत्र यशोदानंदा देकर प्राप्ति होकर नंदा देकर ukari होई अनाथा सुमिरत देकर चित्त का प्रार्थना सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम बोलो
सीताराम, 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 जय सियावर राम.
जब कप्रकारा देहि अंधारा सुमिरो देकर कृष्णा अच्छा देकर प्रेक्षण देही दो कह देकर रास्ता देती सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम बोलो
सीताराम, 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 जय सियावर राम.
राधे श्याम श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
अर्जुन नाम प्रेक्षण मोही आत्मा देकर बिनता होई। देकर दर्शन विष्णु स्वरूपा नाम अन्यका देही अधिका। सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम। बोलो
सीताराम जय सियावर राम।
राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
The child begins to tug, and tugging, he pulls down the vessel that he's tied to, and it is round in shape. So with no effort now, he begins to pull, and he allows and he guides it in the direction in which he wants it to go, because now it is acting like a wheel, going in the direction he's pulling it in. We can only go in the direction that God wants us to go. True or not? True or not? Hello? We can only go in the direction that God wants us to go. Tonight I want to tell you that along the journey of success, sometimes we have to learn to walk alone. We have to learn to walk alone while we're on the journey to success. Because everybody wouldn't fit into every part of the journey. Do you know that? Everybody is not designed to fit in every part of the journey. Do you know that? Huh? Your journey deals with the vision that God gave you. He didn't give everybody the same vision. You know that? So if they don't have the same vision, how will they fit in to the journey? Because you're all on a different pathway. Auntie Paro is in a mandir with countless devotees. But this evening she came here with a handful of people called the Kirtan group. Everybody has the opportunity to be in the Kirtan group. But you know what? The very same pathway was introduced to everybody. But only a handful treaded on the pathway. And the others went in a different direction. Some went to the kitchen. Some went to the cleaning committee. Some went to the ladies group. Some went to being the president and the treasurer and the executive of the temple. And everybody went in different directions. But she went onto the pathway of bhakti through devotion, singing and kirtan. And he's pulling and it is rolling behind him and coming with full force as though he is running from it. He's pulling it and he's running from it. And running from it, what will happen? Something happens. Dekar unho arjun nama bada vrikshan dehi samana jiska vrikshan naam tumhara dekar binta krishna kanaiya radhe sham jai siyavar ram. Bolo Seetahal-Maharaj jai siyavar ram.
Seetahal-Maharaj jai siyavar ram.
He pulls and pulls and pulls. And there are two trees standing out in the yard. And these trees appear to be like twins. Because you know why? They are joined to each other. They appear to be like twins. Have you ever tried to plant two separate plants, but you plant them in the same hole and they grow as though they're one? When you look at the flowers or whatever that is coming from it, you can identify that there's two different plants, but it appears to be like one. Have you ever noticed that? And so, these two trees standing, they don't touch, but it is as though they are joined to each other. And in the space between these two trees, Krishna finds himself between them. And so he's pulling. What is he tied to again? What is he tied to again? Oh, not a blender. It is not a blender. It is not a kitchen aid. It is not a ninja. It is not a magic bullet. It is a what? An ukri. Do you know what is an ukri? If there is anybody who has an ukri at home, the Ganesh Utsav Foundation is asking, can you bring that ukri for us? We want to put it in our temple as a monument. Kamala has a jata at home. We're going to take that jata from Kamala. She and Chiki only does mischief with it. We're going to take that jata and put it as an artifact in the temple. So long after we die, the artifacts will live on and people will be educated. So they will know where we came from. So we could appreciate where we are. Long ago, you wanted to take the moisture out of something. So we didn't have an air fryer. You put it on a galvanized in the hot sun. You all remember that? Huh? Now it's called an air fryer. Have you all heard about it? You air fry everything. Everything is air fried, so you live long. Our Petras taught us that. They taught us how to air dry and air fry everything, so that longevity will come not only to the food or the product, but it will come to you too. But we were too ignorant. Because you know why? We prefer the now for now one than the so for long time one, isn't it? Because you know why? We kind of, what's the word? Lazy. Oh God, did I say that? Remember, I'm apologizing, the connection. There is something wrong with the connection, so I'm apologizing. He pulls the ukri and pulling it, it is stuck now. Between these two trees, the ukri is stuck. And as the ukri is stuck, the name of the trees, those trees can be identified by the name. You and I were identified by our, but our soul is not identified by the name that our body possesses. What is the difference between soul and body? We nourish our bodies by eating food, and we nourish our soul by bhakti, devotion. This is nourishment for our soul. This is something that we are doing not for the body, but for the soul. The remote has a very little battery. Have you ever seen? But that remote will start the big truck or the big car or the... And if that battery goes dead, then you know what happens? The vehicle will never be able to move, isn't it? Then that little soul, that little jiva, that little soul in your body, if it exits the body, then what happens? What happens to the body? We have to learn to appreciate the little soul trapped in us. Because when that soul, the battery goes to zero, then what will happen? What will happen? Das is class. That's what happens. He pulls and pulls and pulls. And so he's stuck between the trees. And the name of the trees, Arjun trees. Arjuna trees. That's the name the Bhagwat says. The name of the tree. Do you know that till today, there were trees that were mentioned in the Ramayana that Goswami Tulsidas Ji described, and he painted a picture, a mental picture of how the trees were planted and the location that they were planted. And the Ramayana was written thousands of years ago. But do you know, till today, you can go and find those same trees in the exact position where Goswami Tulsidas Ji wrote about. And those trees, they're situated in Lanka. But in that place, Goswami Tulsidas Ji tells about how the trees were planted, and those trees are 1,000 years old. What is the size of the soul or the life force, the existence in a tree? Why is a tree permitted to live for 1,000 years and you could only live for 40? What is the tree doing that you are not doing? What is the tree surviving on that you are not surviving on? Have you given thought to that? Tonight, he's stuck between the trees and pulling and pulling and tugging and tugging. What will happen? Something happens. Listen, it answers.
देकर वचन वचन सोई देकर प्रगटा पुत्र न होई नल कुबेर मणि ग्रीवा देकर कुबेर पुत्र देता राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम बोलो
राधे श्याम
प्रकाश देहि ये कर भगवान शंकर देहि सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम बोलो
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम.
The little child pulls and pulls and pulls and tugs, and so the trees begin to bend, they begin to lean. How much force can a little child have? How much power can a little child have? Huh? Do you believe a little child, a baby, is powerful? Powerful enough to pull down a tree? You go to a function and you carry your baby, and that baby doesn't want to be there, and that baby starts to scream. You know what happens? You have to take that child and leave. That child pulled you out from that environment, isn't it? Have you ever experienced that? You take the child in the mall and you say to the child before you go, no toy, no toy. The toy store closed. Don't ask for any toy. You have enough. And then the child passes by the toy store and the door is open and the child says, toy. But you hardly have money. So you say to the child, come, let's go, let's go. You went with the intention of spending time and shopping and doing what you had to do, but now because of the circumstances, you're forced to flee, isn't it? Who caused that? The power, the willpower of the little child forces you to react in a way that you're an adult, but there is nothing you can use your authority to do to change, isn't it? The child pulls and pulls and pulls, and Krishna, he makes the tree bend. And as the tree bends, the root of the tree is uprooted. And the tree falls to the ground, making a loud explosion. And out of these two trees, two divine souls appear. The Bhagwat Puran says that they appear to be like divine souls. Because you know why? They have paid their karma. They have paid their karma, and now they are compared to being as divine souls. What kind of karma they will have that will allow them to be trapped in a tree? It is not only the Bhagwat Mahapuran that talks about souls being trapped in trees. For it spoke in the Ramayana about how Goswami Tulsidas Ji was washing his hand at the root of a tree. And then while washing his hand, a bhoot, some form appeared out of a tree and spoke to him. Did you all hear the katha? Well, in a few weeks from now, we'll be going to Orange Valley for Ramayana Yagna. And when we go, we listen to those kathas. But for tonight, both of these beings, they appear out of the tree. And as their souls stood in front of Lord Krishna, they begin to tell their kahani. Kahani means again, what? They begin to tell you a story. What kind of story can you tell? If you stand in front of God, what will you tell God? Ash, what will you tell God? Say, boy, I reached here already and I now started to live. Huh? And you sent for me already, God? Huh? Carol, what will you tell God? What will you tell him? It says, both of them standing there, they begin to tell their kahani. What is their kahani? Listen.
एक बाटे कर देव अनंता इचतार हिता देहि समंता गंगा स्नान देख प्रार्थना भगवान शंकर देहि प्रवेशा सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम बोलो
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम.
They introduce themselves to Bhagwan Krishna. And they say, oh Lord Krishna, we were the sons of Kuber, the god of wealth. And so our names were Nal Kuber and Manigri. These were our names. And so we were given a shrap. But the reason why we were given the shrap is because we were foolish. We acted foolishly. And so they begin to tell what qualities they possessed that deemed them to be foolish. They say,
भगवान शंकर प्राप्त होय कुबेर बहुत अशवार होय देकर मीर अदम देखी सर्वहरे कर जानता होय सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम बोलो
सीताराम सीताराम
were the sons of Kuber, the god of wealth. And so, because our father was very wealthy, our ego knew no bounds. And so we suffered for nothing. Our best friends were wine and valor and women. These were our friends, and this was the company that we kept. And so, one day, while drunk, in a drunken state,
वाहा उनका पिया का देखे सनगुण देकर रचना देखे सुंदर मीत मधु का गाया मधु देका सुनता पाया सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम.
one day we were drunk and we were engrossed in listening to beautiful music. And so we started to dance. And so our bodies became very sweaty. Our bodies became very sweaty. Strange, huh? Even if you try to dance in air condition, automatically your body begins to sweat, isn't it? And no matter how high the air condition is, sweat will come because your body is active, isn't it? Some people say, well, I went to the gym and I work out and I never sweat. Well, something is wrong with you. You need to get some salts and some seni and take a little, go to the pharmacy and buy some Tracs. You all know what's that? Take a little worm out and... You're laughing? It says, we were in the company of those who were drinking and dancing and enjoying, and so we joined in into the festivities. And so we were enjoying the company of the ladies around, etc. And then because our bodies became so sweaty, we decided to go to the nadi. We decided to go to the water. And so we started to enjoy ourselves in the water. Enjoying ourselves, something will happen. What will happen?
देकर नदी का स्नान हरि की देकर इनका अतिकारी की जब का प्राण आनंद रूपा अच्छा नारद ऋषि का देखा रस्ता गुरु का देखा दर्शन कुबेर का पुत्र नाशन नारद ऋषि का श्राप तुम्हारा विनिता उन्हा शरीर मावा कन्या देकर नहीं तकता देवो नाशन अतिका पीता राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम बोलो
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम.
We went to the nadi, we went to the river. And so intoxicated as we were, we went to bathe in the water. And so going to bathe in the water, we decided to take off all of our clothing. And so we went with no clothing in the water and we started to bathe. How do you bathe? How are you supposed to bathe? In reference to not water and soap, but in reference to your attire. When you go to the ocean and you go to the river and you go to the waterways, how are you supposed to bathe? You're supposed to bathe in a respectful way. Because we worship the water as God, isn't it? But as soon as you go inside there, you know what happened? The bladder says, free me. Isn't it? The old people, our grandmothers and our grandfathers, and they taught us that when you're going to the river and you're going to the ocean, you never go there with your hands swinging. And no, they never said go with a full bladder either. They said that you must take some rice grains and some coins and some flowers and maybe some doof grass and maybe from your home a supari, and you go and you pray to Ganga Devi and Bhagwan Vishnu, because the god who governs the water, his name is Varun, and the goddess who governs the water, her name is Ganga. And so you go and you pray. That's why when we do Kartik Puja, you do Vishnu Puja and Ganga Devi together. That's the reason why. The male and the female forms that dwell or govern or live in the water, we pray, we propitiate worship to them. And so we had on no clothing, and so we started to bathe and we started to enjoy each other's company. Strange, huh? You ever see how people operate when they're drunk? They're friendly with everybody, huh? True or not? They're going and hugging up everybody and kissing everybody. The same man, when he's sober, he don't say a single word, eh? have an uncle that once he say, hey, look, my mamu from India. And he will hug up everybody and kiss them and everybody will enjoy it, because you know why? It is a grand performance. His intentions are pure, totally harmless, doing it with love, but it will only happen when he's intoxicated, because when he's drunk, you can't even know that he exists. You would not know. They enjoyed each other's company, and enjoying each other's company, what will happen? Narad Muni appeared there while they were bathing. And as Narad Muni appeared there, what will happen?
नारद ऋषि का श्राप दिया का देवन नव कुल देहि पाया मन गोदे कह मणिग्रीव रूपा ऋषिका देकर बिनत स्वरूपा राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम। बोलो सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम।
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम।
Narad Muni appeared there, and so we saw Narad Muni, but we were so engrossed in what we were doing, we paid no heed to Narad. You ever went to some place and you saw somebody that you know, but you pretend you didn't see them because you don't want to talk to them? Hello, Trinidadians, I'm talking to you. You always think that there is some level of superiority that you possess, that you don't need to lower yourself to the standard of anybody to say hello and hi and good morning and Sitaram, and you always feel so, eh? You think so. Well, I want to tell you, anytime I recognize that you're hiding from me is when you will really be embarrassed. I go to Price Mart. Actually, I go to Massey, and Sharon is there in Massey. And Sharon saw me and she ducked into a lane, and I saw her reaction. And from the other lane I went and I was like, Sharon, sorry. And when I go to the next lane, to skip me, she went to the other lane. And I'm screaming, Sugar Plum, where are you? And I hear some man saying, you really love your wife, boy. You're calling her with so much of love, eh? I said, she's not my wife. He said, so how are you calling her with so much of love? I said, because you know, I want her to understand that she don't need to run from me. My intentions are pure and all I have for her is love. Until I go and I hold on to her trolley. She said, why are you holding on to my... I said, give me a ride now. Give me a ride. And she's pushing the trolley and beep, beep. It is always the intelligent thing to do, to acknowledge and move on. Anytime you try to hide and you try to shun away, then the reaction might be different. But if you acknowledge, you're an adult, you acknowledge and you move on, then you say, I don't have much time, so I'll talk with you, I'm going. Isn't it? It makes all the difference because you do it in a dignified way. But we like to do everything in a pretensive, fake, false way. We do that. It says Narad Muni, he stood there, and so they did not pay any heed to Narad Muni, and this made Narad upset. Have you ever been ignored before? How do you feel when you're ignored? Prabhu, how you feel when you're ignored? Well, how? It says Narad Muni, he does something. He places a shrap. He places a curse. I'm placing this curse. What he says?
रूप हरि कर उसका बाला भगवान देकर प्रार्थना विशाला अतम समीका देकी भगता देकर उसका देखी सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम। बोलो टुकड़ी देकर आत्मा देगी रक्षा सुमिरो कान्हा देके भगवान कृष्ण जाता देवी नारद शाप बहुता देके सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम बोलो
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम.
Narad, he says, it appears as though, oh, Nalkuber and Manigriv, you like to be naked. You like to be naked. You enjoy being naked. So I give you a varadan, I give you a gift. May both of you stand here as tall, naked trees. This is the varadan I give to you. As tall, naked trees. And a day will come when Bhagwan Vishnu will come on the earth. And only when he comes, he will liberate you out of this sharp, this curse that I have placed. Nal Kuber and Manigriv immediately asked, when is the next time he will come? How long from now he will come? And so Narad, he gives the reply. How long from now? Listen, I'll tell you.
देकर समया काल रूपा सुमिरत देकर विष्णु स्वरूपा देकर युग युग का देवी स्मरण देगा सतयुग देवी द्वापर त्रेता कलि का रूपा विष्णु देकर प्रकट स्वरूपा विनित नारद देहि देहि वचन सुंदर पेदन देवी कर्मा काम करनाशा विनिता लेकर ही विदाता सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम बोलो
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम.
Narad Muni is saying that Bhagwan Vishnu comes in the different kalps, in the different ages. And he goes on to describe what are the ages, what are the kalps. He says Satyug, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. And in every one of the yugas, Bhagwan Vishnu will take his manifestation. And he gives the names of the manifestations that Bhagwan Vishnu will come as. He says that he will come as, what will he come as? Who will he come as? Sri Ram. He will come as Lord Krishna. And who will he come as? Who will he come as? There is a manifestation to still come of Bhagwan Vishnu in the age of Kali Yuga. Which manifestation is that? The manifestation of Kalki avatar. There is still a manifestation to come in this age, this dark age that we live in. And it gives a description in the Bhagwat of what Bhagwan Vishnu will look as Kalki. It describes what he will look like, what kind of animal he'll be riding on, and what will he'll be holding in his hands. But don't worry, we have 7 years of Bhagwat, so we're not rushing to hear everything this year. We're hearing what we're accustomed to hearing. In our next Bhagwat, we're going to listen to who these characters were in their previous birth. Nalkuber and Manigriv, who were they? And which scripture we could have found them in before we found them in the Bhagwat. That's what we will do. Nanda and Yashoda, we'll find out who were they in their previous birth, what scripture spoke about them, and what afforded them the opportunity to be the custodians of Bhagwan Krishna. And so, we will do a clashing of the various scriptures, and that Bhagwat will be a Bhagwat of a difference. A lot of homework will go into that Bhagwat, and a lot of good information will come, where we will see and we will learn about the law of karma. How karma has a unique way of coming back, and what are the torments based on the actions that you enjoy in your next birth. We'll learn that in the next Bhagwat, not this one. So we'll talk about Kalki, but don't rush. We have 7 years. Hopefully, if we are alive, hopefully if I am alive, if God spares my life, we'll reach to that point. But tonight, Narad Muni is saying that Bhagwan Vishnu will come. For in every yuga, in every kalpa, in every age, he will come. And so it might be 1,000 years, it might be 1,000,000 years, it might be 10,000 years, it might be 10 million years. You just remain put right here and continue to grow and be naked like you like to be. Huh? What if God shrapped every person who liked to wear naked clothes? Do you know they're naked clothes, huh? You look at the person and you don't have to walk through. It already see through. Huh? Have you ever seen that before? Have you ever seen that before? I spoke yesterday and I said the price gone up and the size gone down. The more small and short it is, the more expensive it is. Huh? A jeans with a cut up, how much you want that? Versus a kurta that will cover your whole body. Which one is more expensive? Which one is more expensive? Hello? Green, which one is more expensive? Oh. She says to me, it is about the same thing. So what will you choose? You use the cut up jeans with the kurta top, huh? They're around the same price. So we're going to mix them. It's Western way. I'm sure the kurta will be cheaper. I'm sure. Narad Muni says, stand here and wait. Some of us think that waiting time is wasting time. Let me say that again. Some of us think that waiting time is wasted time. Have you ever thought like that? While we are waiting, God is working. Do you know? While we are waiting, God is working. And while you are waiting for what you want, what you think you want, you're limiting your blessing. Because what God has planned for you is far better than what you think you're waiting on. Because when you think you're waiting on a particular thing, you're limiting the blessing that God could give you, or will give you, or should give you. Because you're specifying. You're specifying. So, waiting time is not wasted time. While you're waiting, God is working. Always remember that. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to start this house and I don't know what will happen. It is not wasting time. It is waiting time. When it begins to happen, it will happen. Because God is working. God is preparing. And you're too busy to notice. Bhagwan Krishna, hearing the kahani, he looks at Nal Kuber and Manigrave and he smiles as though he didn't already know. They're telling him as though he didn't already know. And looking at them, what will happen? Listen.
Bhagwan Krishna jantar dehi nar vishapa mahata deki bhakti dekar unka data Arjuna pera roop dikata vastu dekar kubera putra dekar bhakti sumero deka smarana jap tap काम तुम्हारा पूर्वक dekar unho para सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम बोलो
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम।
भगवान कृष्णा की जानते करने देखो उनको का नारद की श्राप बहुत उसके का समय दे देखो अर्जुन का पैर रूप त्याग करने देखो वास्तु का कुबेर के पुत्र देखो रशवार भगवान कान्हा की रूप करने वाले जिसमें का पीर व पैर बीच करने रास्ता अभय करने वाले यापी का मरण का देखते करने कश्मा का सक्षा का देख मोटर का पैरों का बीच करने वाले देखो रूप का घसता करने वाले जिसमें का पाप भगवान कृष्णा की भार उन्हों करने वाले ओम श्री परमात्मने नमः जिसमें उसके का कच्चा का पैर उनके का शीर शरीर होते करने वाले साथ साथ की देव करने वाले टूट उन्हों का पैरों दे देखो महादेव पुत्र की आशीर्वाद प्राप्ति होते हैं दर्शन है भगवान कृष्णा की आत्मा शरीर विनती करने हैं देखो और बाल का कृष्णा समय का उन प्रार्थना करेंगे बोलो सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम।
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय
Krishna smiles, listening to the kahani, listening to the epic of Nalkubera Manigriv. And so he raises his hand as though he's blessing the souls, and the souls begin to ascend into the heavens. The shrap of Narad has come to an end, and so the curse has been broken. They're liberated out of the bodies of the tree. If you and I look at a tree, what will you see? If you and I look at a tree, what will you see? Hello? What will you see? Branches, leaves, the trunk. What makes the tree look beautiful? The flowers. The leaves sometimes make the appearance of the plant. Is it? But the most important part of that tree is the thing you can't see. The thing you can't see is the most important part of that plant. Just like the most important part of our body is something you can't see. It exists. It exists, but you can't see it. But if it ceases to exist, you know what happens? Everybody else will see it. You know why? You know why? Mar gaya. You're dead. Everybody else will see your dead body. When you see people, what do you see? The Bhagwat gives a description of what the aura of the beings around us can be described as. And listen, these books were written thousands of years ago, millions of years ago. This book that I'm reading is a generational book. This book passed through the hands of many pundits. And so this book came from the late, great Vasudev Misra. This book has been to many Bhagwat Yagnas. This book has been to countless places. The cantos are in leaves. They're in leaves. And if I don't hold these pages carefully, they will all fall apart. When you're putting the chandan, the pages begin to powder. Have you seen? And when you're putting the chandan, there is a chandan mark from maybe 20 years ago, and 50 years ago, and 40 years ago. You can see the mark of the chandan and the amount of times that the chandan has been placed there. I'm not allowing you now to put it in that one spot, but I'm allowing you to put it different places because I'm afraid the book will fall apart. Because the book bears value. There is sentiment. The Bhagwat Puran gives a description about what human beings are like, what they can be compared to. Do you want to hear what it says? If you have to compare human beings, what will you use to compare them? What can you use as a comparison to describe human beings? Sukdev Muni is telling Raja Parikshit, he's describing human beings and he's using something. What will you use? What can you use? Cindy, what will you use? Ash, what will you use? Radix, what will you use? Huh? Parvi, what will you use? Chunki, what will you use? Huh? What will you use? Listen to what he says. Sukdev Muni tells.
देकर वृक्षन पलका सोई अतिका देकर फूल होई.
He says when you look at a tree, you're seeing the trunk, you're seeing the leaves, you're seeing the flowers, you're seeing the pulp, the fruit. But you're not seeing the most valuable thing, the root. You're not seeing it. So too when you see man, what will happen?
लेकिन देखह अटिका देखा सुमिरो देखह कष्मा देहा देकर कष्ट रूप पासा देकर विनता विनत समाना वेद पुराण ग्रंथ बहु विधि पर देकर भगवान हे नतवर राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम. बोलो
Sukdev Muni is telling Raja Parikshit, never. Listen to how he says it. He doesn't say never, you know. He says never. Have you ever wanted to stress on a word? You want to say yes, so you write Y-E-S-S-S-S-S-S. Huh? You want to stress is yes. Have you ever done that before? You want to prove that you're laughing out loudly, so you write L-O-L-L-L-L-L-L. Have you ever done that before? In your abbreviation? L-O-L-L-L-L-L. And so it stresses how loud you're laughing. Huh? He says, never. Can you all say that together with me? Let's do this together. You know, in kindergarten, the kindergarten teacher says, after 3, 2, 3, never. I have a bad class of students. This is not a trick. This is a lesson. And the only way you will learn this lesson, I don't want you to hear it. I want you to say it. Because sometimes the thing that you hear and you say, you tend to absorb. You will remember when you say it too. So I want you to say it with me. Let's say this with some kind of energy, right? Energy. I know you all, we got up very early. We went to sleep very late. I know we will go to sleep very late tonight. We have to get up very early. I know the mantra. I know the routine. I know what will happen. But let's do this together. Class, 2, 3. Never. Oh, you all did so good. Let me give you a clap. You all did really good. Never. Sukhdev Muni is telling Raja Parikshit, never place your trust in any man, any human being. Never place your trust. Never. Because you live your hopes depending, and then in the dying moment, when you think that they will be there for you, you know what will happen? What will happen? Sukhdev Muni says, he says, oh Raja Parikshit, people can be compared to that of books, the very same book that I'm reading from the Bhagwat Mahapuran. Listen to what he's saying. Philosophy. He's saying people can be compared to books just like the book that I'm reading from the Bhagwat Mahapuran. He says, but some will be like the cover, deceiving. Though the cover looks nice, when you open it, the content, the cover shocks you sometimes, and sometimes the content will shock you. Have you ever heard? That's where the proverb came from. It came from the Bhagwat Mahapuran. When Sukhdev Muni said to Raja Parikshit, never judge the book by the... That is where that came from. It came from the Bhagwat Mahapuran. And I can show you anytime you ask me. I can show you where Sukhdev Muni is telling Raja Parikshit, never judge the book by its cover. For there are some people who are like books, and some of them will deceive you by the way the cover looks, and others will deceive you with the content that they possess. Isn't that philosophy? Isn't that food for thought? Isn't that the nourishment for your mind? Tonight when you leave here, remember that. Remember the words of Sukhdev Muni. People are like books. Some deceive you by their cover, and others deceive you by their content. Nal Kuber and Manigriv, their souls get mukti, salvation. And so Bhagwan Krishna, a manifestation of Lord Vishnu, has brought an end to the shrap of Narad Muni.
Umapati Mahadeva ki jai, Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki jai, Ayodhya Ram Lala ki jai, Vrindavan Krishna Chandra ki jai, Pure sa Jagannath ki jai, Bolo bhai sab santan ki jai, Siya Vrindavan Hare ki. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo.
Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Siyavar Ram.
Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo.
सुस्मितं सुगन्धिं निर्मलं जलम् आचमनम्या देवा गृहाणा परमेश्वर भूर्भुवस्वासुरग्निदेवता आवाह्यामि स्थापयामि पूजयामश्च ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो न प्रचोदयात् इदं गात्रेदं नाम ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो न प्रचोदयात् इदं गात्रेदं नाम ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो न प्रचोदयात् इदं गात्रेदं नाम ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो न प्रचोदयात् इदं गात्रेदं नाम ॐ एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ते प्रचोदयात् ॐ कात्यायनाय विद्महे कनककुमारी च धीमहि तन्नो भगवते प्रचोदयात् अञ्जनीसुताय विद्महे वायुपुत्राय धीमहि तन्नो हनुमान प्रचोदयात् तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्र प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात् महालक्ष्मी च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो भगवते प्रचोदयात् ॐ ब्रह्मा मुरारी श्रीपुरन्तकारी भानुशशे भुवि सतोवनस्य गुरु शुक्र शनि राहु केत सर्वे ग्रह शान्तिकारा भवन्तु त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमेव वन्दनात् मृत्योर्मोक्षमामृतात् त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमेव वन्दनात् मृत्योर्मोक्षमामृतात् चातुर्मे त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमेव वन्दनात् मृत्योर्मोक्षमामृतात्. This mantra has the ability to water away death from all pathway. Let us chant this mantra together, everybody, with all your love, with bhakti, with bhav. Sundarvani, beautiful voice. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushni Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityormokshamaamritat. Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushni Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityormokshamaamritat. त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमेव बन्धनात् मृत्योर्मोक्षमामृतात्. Say with me, Om Sarva Devi Sarva Deva Namaha Swaha. Om Sarva Devi Sarva Devaya Namaha Swaha. Om Sarva Devi Sarva Devaya Namaha Swaha. Om Sarva Devi Sarva Devaya Namaha स्वाहा. ओम सर्वदेवी सर्वदेवाय नमः स्वाहा. बोलो राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम. बोलो
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर
आचमनप्यादत्त गृहाणा परमेश्वर आचमनं समर्पयामि गंगेश यमुनेश्चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदा सिन्धु कावेरी वनस्पतिर्सूरभूतो गन्धार्यो गणतोत्तमा आग्रे सर्वदेवानां धूपोऽयं प्रतिगृहीताम्. We all stretch. Analaya Namah Analaya Namah Analaya Namah. Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम.
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम.
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम.
Tonight, this brings us to the end of our devotion. We want to remind you that tomorrow is what day again? Saturday. Tomorrow is the last day of our 3 readings. When we were planning, it seemed as though it would be a long time. Doesn't it seem to be very short now? That time has just blown itself away. Tomorrow is the final evening of our readings. Tomorrow, 9 to 11, 2 to 4, and 7 to 9. But on Sunday morning, my loving mother and sisters and the ladies of the Ganesh Utsav Foundation, they're going to perform the ceremony that is known as the Godan, the gift of giving the cow. Tomorrow, I don't want you to only look on the television or listen on the radio. Take a drive. You can't drive in the night? Come in the day. Let's spend each other's company. Papa and Mama Joyce came to every session today. And after every session, she'll be proud to come and say to me, you see me? I came, you saw me? And I looked at Papa and I said, Papa, do you want something to take home? He said, why will I take it home and I'm coming back to eat right here? Today, after we would have done our morning session was not only a reading session, it was a real cry session after. It was a cry session and I had no clue what happened, even I cried. I have no clue. I can't explain what happened. There is no clue. But this morning was a cry session. I could imagine when Sunday morning comes, what will be the emotion. I could just imagine. But the feeling will be like. But I want to give you the comfort and the assurance that we have next year and the following year. Actually, we don't know if we have next year, but there is hope that there will be Bhagwat again next year. There is hope. It is our wish, it is our desire. And when there is a will, Bhagwan has a unique way. He will create a way. I'm sure he will. I don't know, I gave thought before I came outside. I don't know if the members of the Ganesh Utsav Foundation has given thought to how blessed we are. Scripture has declared that there are 5 Maha or great deities that should be worshipped. Lord Ganesh, we call the Ganesh Utsav Foundation and we host the Ganesh Yagna. Devi Mata. We sing the praises of Jagat Janani, Devi Mata in the Navratri. Both Navratris, the beginning and the ending. Lord Hanuman. We host Hanuman Puja in grand style every single year for years now, isn't it? Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. Worship has to be done to him. Strange. We're having a Bhagwat Yagna. We're having a Bhagwat Yagna, and at the end of our Ganesh Utsav, we host the Pitra Yagna. It is dedicated to Lord Vishnu. We have been doing the Vishnu Yagna. Now we are doing Bhagwat dedicated to Lord Vishnu. Bhagwat Mahapuran. And one of the Maha Yagyas that should be done is Shiva Mahapuran. We do our Shiva Yagna without fail, isn't it? We are observing all of the Maha Yagyas that Scripture has prescribed that we should observe. And while there are many people who are able to host only one Yagna for the year, think about how much Yagyas we host every single year for the past many years. And we still have people who think that if they don't come, nothing will happen. The invitation is of Bhagwan, and once Bhagwan comes, you know what happens? Everything happens. Ashish said today in his welcoming, and I was shocked when he said that. He said in his welcoming, never be on the called list. Never be on the called list. Nobody has to call you. Be chosen. Be chosen, be selected. And somebody didn't select you and didn't call you, remind yourself, I am on that list. Not every function that you have to take up the phone and call and remind each other. I want to tell you, all of you, when you hear Yagya, you're invited. We don't have to call you and tell you. You're invited, you know that. Come and be a part of the Yagya. This evening to our president and to the executive of the Ganesh Utsav Foundation, I want to say hats off to you. I want to say that I am very proud of you. I want to say that I'm sure Bhagwan Vishnu will be very happy with you. And this Bhagwat has proven to us, to me actually, that no task placed in front of you will be difficult. For where there is unity, there will always be strength. The motto of the Ganesh Utsav Foundation is work smart, not I can't hear you. Work smart, not? When we look at all of these arrangements, we look at all the fixing and the preparation that is happening, and Ravi, can you come quickly? This is the mastermind behind all the preparations of the puja. The mastermind. I've requested other people to come and to help him because I know it will be a difficult task. But you know, they want the called list but not the chosen list. I don't know. I thought that he will need help. But he proved to me that once he has God and the blessings of God, he could manage any task. How can I ever begin to say thank you to you? How can I ever repay you for the service that you provide, creating an opportunity for everybody to worship Bhagwan? I want to tell you with no apology, you know who will leave here with the most blessing? You know who? You're the one who picked the leaves. You're the one who sets the thali. You're the one who gives the instruction. Tie the janeu. 3 o'clock this morning, Ria is saying, let me tie some janeu now. We go help out Robbie. And then Trisha says, he go manage that. It's late. Let me go home now. But everybody got a janeu to put on their murti. All 3 sessions, isn't it? It is only when they spoke last night I recognized that we have been using more than 50 janeus in every sitting. And every janeu was tied. Can you think about the effort that went into that? How can we say thank you for that? There is no amount of money that we could pay anybody for something like that. You know that? There is no amount of money. And so to you, Ravi, I want to pray. My prayer is that not you will be blessed, but the soul of your mother and your father will be blessed. And they will receive the merits out of the actions that you have performed. And Bhagwan Krishna is Mokam Karo. You see that sister that you have who is looking on the television this evening? We want to bless her. She recently lost one of her legs due to her illness. But we pray that Bhagwan Krishna will make the impossible possible. And he will be her strength and her support. And this evening I want you to put your hands together. And let us say that the prayers we ask Bhagwan to bless her. As we chant these verses dedicated to Bhagwan Vishnu. As we chant the verses of Bhagwat Gita. Paramatmaye Krishnaye Govindaye Namo Namah. Paramatmaye Ramaye Govindaye Namo Namah. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Patu Danurdana Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutar Trvani Tirma Tirmama. Om Gita Ganga Chagayatri Sita Satya Saraswati Brahma Vidya Brahma Bali Tri Sandhya Mukta Gehini Artamata Chirananda Bhavagani Benashini Vedatri Parananda Tatvartya Namanjani. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vrindavan Vyanilali Ki Jai. This evening I remember my beloved Guru. And so there is when the Bhagwat Yagna will happen, my Guru will always sing a particular bhajan. I'm just going to sing 2 lines. My godmother, I don't know if you know, but my Guru was the late Dharmachar Pandit Uttam Maharaj from Rosila. And so my God, I know with conviction that my godmother, she will look at the Yagna. I know. And one of the things that stands out that in the absence of my Guru, my godmother, she has not forgotten me. She takes up her phone and she calls and she says to me, I just called to say, I love you and God bless you. She says, how are you? And I say, well, I am here and good. And she says, that's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. And now that I've heard that, I am also here and good. Tonight I pray that wherever his soul is, and the souls of the Pitris, my father, your ancestors, wherever their souls are, remember them as we sing a few lines of this beautiful bhajan. We pray on behalf of the souls. Hare Krishna Govinda Mohan Murari, Hare Krishna Govinda Mohan Murari, Japa kar Mallikari, Japa kar Mallikari, Hare Krishna Govinda Mohan Murari, Hare Krishna Govinda Mohan Murari. Tonight I remember one of my uncles who has just passed, Uncle Raj, who lived in Orlando. If we were having this Bhagwat Yagna, he would have been elated if he was alive. I remember him tonight. May Bhagwan bless his soul as he makes his journey. We pray together. Hare Krishna Govinda Mohan Murari, Hare Krishna Govinda Mohan Murari, Japa kar Mallikari, Japa kar Mallikari, Hare Krishna Govinda Mohan Murari, Hare Krishna Govinda Mohan Murari. Wohi Srishti Gaya, Wohi Srishti Kari, Wohi Srishti Gaya, Wohi Srishti Kari, Japa kar Japa kar Hare Krishna Govinda Mohan Murari, Hare Krishna Govinda Mohan Murari. Tonight, may the souls of the Pitris be blessed. Where there is sorrow, the opposite of sorrow is what? Joy. There are many people celebrating their birthday, shockingly, even today. But there is a particular lady who is looking on in, additionally, where is it? New York, Florida. What's her name again? Lakshmi Singh. You should see the messages that she sent to me. Sometimes when I look at those messages, I am forced to cry. And I don't cry physical tears, I cry the inner tears. To you, I want to wish you it's a birthday, isn't it? A happy, happy birthday. And so may the peace and the blessings of Paramatma be upon you. You're celebrating your birthday? Happy birthday. I don't know about you, I'm celebrating mine every day in the month of June. And long after the Bhagwat comes to an end, there are still remaining days. I'll be sticking cakes and eating ice cream and exercising in Palmy's Park. But I'll be enjoying every day my group is a very important asset to me. My group. And before you reminded me, I was going to say that. My group is a very important asset to me. They're family. That's what they are. They're family. They're my biggest critics and they're my best friends. That's what they are. I don't know if you know this. The very first satsang I did, a beautiful seat was created for me to sit. But do you know how I sat on the seat? Backwards with my back facing everybody. Because I was terrified. I was frightened. And Jagannath and Gloria, they accompanied me. And Gloria said to me, "Stop being a coward." I said, "How I'll sing the Ramayana Sumiran?" She said, "You just hold the mic now. And anything you hear, like the tune, you just hum. Hum." And I say, "Hum?" Hum. There are many people who think that they're big on pronunciation, you know. Everything is about pronunciation, everybody. They're big on pronunciation, but their character don't match the pronunciation, you know. The behavior don't match the pronunciation. Huh? Because being able to chant and pronounce properly will teach you how to be humble and simple and noble and divine and all of those bulls. All of those are bulls? That's what it will teach you to be. But you know what happened? The ego has taken charge and the competition has kicked in and I'm not competing. Can you believe that Rakesh has been a part of this group for more than 5 years now? Can you believe that? How quick time has flown. In those 5 years, there has never been a time, I think he spent more time with us than he spent with his family at home in those 5 years. I had no clue. There was some reason I kind of like him, you know. And while he and many of them, they disagree with each other, you know. They disagree with each other. In any group and any family, there is always little harbat. You all know it's harbat? But my job is to be this sarbat. You know what's sarbat? The peacemaker now. The sweet one in the sector. Alkaline the. I now know why I have a special love for him, because he's a Gemini, you know. I could relate to him. Now I understand why he has that very serious look on his face all the time. Because he has this sign of the twin, Sintra. The twin. Rakesh is celebrating his birthday today. His 75th birthday. His sister came earlier today and they have something special planned for him. The sticking of a cake and all of those things. His sister came to the Yagna. And I said that, why will we do this when there is nobody? A celebration should include everybody. So let's wait till the night time. After the RT, we'll do the sticking of the cake. Rakesh, what can I tell you? What can I say to you or about you? There's never been a time I've called on him and he ever said to me no. He might say to beg go, but not no. He said, I'll make a plan, I'll set something in place for you. Don't worry. Duty above all is his philosophy. And I want to say thank you, Rakesh, for always being the person that you are. I want to say thank you. Everybody, let's give him a round of applause. And now that I know you're in trouble, in the Bhagwat next year, you'll be wearing a dhoti and a kurta. And you'll be doing puja every evening to celebrate the existence, to celebrate your existence. On the stage, we had a new addition for the Bhagwat. They call him on TikTok and everywhere else Drumzy. When you see his videos, you're forced to faint with laughter. I want to tell you that you have really enhanced our delivery. And your presence was really felt. We have a problem, you know. We know you're busy. We're not going to let you go. We're not going to allow you to go. You know, in the wedding, they tied the dulaha to the dulahin so that they wouldn't get away. Well, I'm sorry for you. Because we didn't tie you to any person, but we tied you to the group. And so you have been initiated into the group. I just want to tell you so that you will know, in case you didn't already know. Maybe to reiterate what you already know. I don't know. This evening to all of you, you are special, you are loved, and you are appreciated. And this evening we dedicate our RT to you. To all of you, those who have allowed us into their homes, in their places of work, we send our love to you. There's a member of our group who is missing. Not missing because of death, missing because of duty. But your name, you can only be where your name is written. That's where you'll be, where your name is written. I'm not sure if you'll be here for the closing of the Bhagavad. I'm not sure what will happen. I don't know. But God knows best. Let us all stand as we join in the closing hour. शुभं करोतु कल्याणं आरोग्यं सुखसम्परं मम शत्रु विनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते सिद्धि बुद्धि प्रदे देवे भुक्ति मुक्ति प्रदायने मंत्रमूर्ते सदा देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तु ते। भागवत आरती।
भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये अमर गंतये मुक्ति पंतये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मोक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
हरि ज्ञान ही वरदान है
हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही।
जग के मंगल की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापो को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये सुख करनी हे दुख हरणी।
ये सुख करने ये दुख हरने।
ये मधुसूदन की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत बोल सन्मार्ग दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत बोल सन्मार्ग दिखाने वाला बिगड़े को बनाने वाला।
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही।
सबके महिमा की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय 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 भागवतम। जय 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 भागवतम। जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी
जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी
जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी
जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी
जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी
जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी
जगदम्बा देवी हो जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी
जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी
जगदम्बा देवी हो जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी
जगदम्बा देवी जगदम्बा देवी जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी
अम्बा अम्बा जय जगदम्बा
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 दुम 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 दुर्गा
दुर्गा
नम 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 ललिता
लम 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 ललिता
बम 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 भोला
बम 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 भोला
हर बम 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 भोला
हरे बम 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 भोला
हर बम 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 भोला
हरे बम 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 भोला
दुम 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 दुर्गा
दुम 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 दुर्गा
बम 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 भोला
बम 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 भोला
अम्बा अम्बा जय जगदम्बा
अम्बा अम्बा जय जगदम्बा
अम्बा अम्बा जय जगदम्बा
अम्बा अम्बा जय जगदम्बा
यत्र योगीश्वर कृष्ण यत्र पाटो धनुर्धन तत्र श्रीविजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवाणि धर्मतिर्मम यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युतानां धर्मस्य तदात्मानं स्वजाम्यहम् परित्रणाय साधूनां विनाशाय सदुष्कृताम् धर्म संतार्पणार्थाय सम्भवामि युगे युगे यं ब्रह्मा वरुणीन्द्ररुद्रमरुता दुर्मन्ते दिव्ये श्रवे वेदे साङ्गपनक्रौ परिषदे गायन्त्यं सामगा मन्त्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं जनाधर यत्पूजितं मया देव परिपूर्णं तरस्तमे मन्त्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं जनाधर यत्पूजितं मया देवी परिपूर्णं तरस्तमे त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्याद्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देवा द्यो शान्ति अन्तरिक्षं शान्ति पृथिवी शान्ति आपा शान्ति ओषधे शान्ति वनस्पतय शान्ति विश्वदेवा शान्ति ब्रह्मा शान्ति सर्वं शान्तिरेव शान्ति सामा शान्तिरिद्धि भवतु अम्बा अम्बा जय जगदम्बा
अम्बा अम्बा जय जगदम्बा अम्बा अम्बा जय जगदम्बा अम्बा अम्बा जय जगदम्बा अम्बा अम्बा जय जगदम्बा अम्बा अम्बा जय जगदम्बा अम्बा अम्बा जय
जगदम्ब